Are you ready for a Bible story time with me? Stay tuned.
In pain, and because of that, Joseph prospered.
Joseph had a dream, two actually, and in both, God showed him something unimaginable. He would rise above his brothers, and even his father and mother will one day bow before him.
He was just 17, young, favored, and full of promise.
But what God didn't show Joseph was the process.
Sometimes the distance between the dream and its fulfillment is paved with pain.
Joseph's story begins in his father's house, clothed in a robe of many colors, a symbol of his father Jacob's special love. But that same robe stirred jealousy in the hearts of his brothers. The dreamer annoyed them, the favorite provoked them.
And one day, the jealousy boiled over.
They stripped him of his robe, threw him into a pit, and plotted to kill him.
Can you imagine? Betrayed by your own blood, rejected, abandoned.
Alone in a pit with nothing but the sound of dry earth and betrayal echoing in your ears.
But God wasn't finished. Instead of killing him,
they sold him to passing traders. Just like that, Joseph went from favorite son to a slave on his way to Egypt. And it would have been easy to believe the dream was dead, but God had only just begun. In Egypt, Joseph was sold to Potiphar, a high-ranking official in Pharaoh's court. And there, something surprising happened. God was with Joseph, even in slavery,
even in a foreign land, even in pain. And because of that, Joseph prospered. Potiphar noticed the favor on Joseph's life and placed him in charge of everything he owned. Things seemed to be looking up again, but then came another blow.
This time in the form of false accusation. Potiphar's wife desired Joseph. When he refused her, she lied. She screamed. She framed him, and Joseph, though innocent, was thrown into prison. Once again, Joseph had done the right thing and still suffered injustice. But God was with him there too.
In prison, Joseph didn't grow bitter. He grew better. He served, interpreted dreams.
And one day, he interpreted the dreams of two men who had once served in Pharaoh's court, the chief baker and the cupbearer. To the baker, he gave a sobering word of judgment. To the cupbearer, he gave a message of restoration. And Joseph's only request, when you are restored, remember me. But the cupbearer forgot. Joseph sat in that prison for 2 more years, forgotten by man, but never forgotten by God. Then one night, Pharaoh had a dream. 2, in fact, just like Joseph once had. And no one in Egypt could explain them. That's when the cupbearer finally remembered the Hebrew slave who interprets dreams. They pulled Joseph from the prison. He shaved, changed his clothes, and stood before the most powerful man on earth. Pharaoh said, I hear you can interpret dreams. And Joseph, still humble, still faithful, replied, I cannot, but God can.
Joseph then interpreted the dreams. 7 years of abundance, followed by 7 years of famine. And he didn't stop there. He gave Pharaoh a plan, a strategy, and wisdom. In a moment, everything changed. Pharaoh looked at Joseph and said, can we find anyone like this man, one in whom is the Spirit of God? And he placed Joseph second in command, all of Egypt, from prison to palace, from forgotten to favored, from betrayed to crowned. But it wasn't just about Joseph. God was positioning him to save lives, including the very brothers who betrayed him. When famine came, those same brothers bowed before him in Egypt, just as the dream foretold. Joseph wept not of revenge, but out of love. He forgave them. He provided for them. He saw the full picture. What the enemy meant for evil, God used it for good. What can we learn from Joseph's journey? Number 1, your pit doesn't cancel your purpose. Even when people reject you, God's calling remains. Betrayal doesn't revoke the dream. The process is painful, but it's producing something greater. Number 2, God is with you, even in the dark places. From the pit to Potiphar's house to prison, God never left Joseph. You may feel forgotten, but you are not forsaken. Number 3, delay is not denial. Joseph waited 13 years from his dream to its fulfillment. But in every delay, God was developing him. Don't mistake waiting as wasted time. Number 4, promotion comes from preparation. Joseph was faithful in the pits, in the house, and in the prison. And when the palace came, he was ready, not because of a title, but because of tested character. Number 5, forgiveness free your future. Joseph didn't let bitterness ruin the blessing. He forgave his brothers and stepped into a bigger purpose to save nations. Has God ever used a painful season to prepare you for something greater? Share your story in the comments. Your testimony could be the encouragement someone needs today.